What is up, my friends? It is your host, Nick Anderson, again, and amongst the whiskey is going to be looking at Nelson's Green Brier Black Brier. This is the distillery only release, dropping on November 29th in Nashville, Tennessee. Black Brier is their special project where they partner with Blackstone Brewing Company to do a stout finished whiskey. This year's release, the 2024 edition, is going to be a blend of straight bourbons finished in that Imperial Stout cask. Bringing in at 106 proof. This is going to be one you don't want to miss. And amongstthewhiskey.com obviously gets first access at tasting notes for this one. Part of the reason why Amongst the Whiskey is the best independent whiskey review site on the web. Make sure you go subscribe over there. And here, why not? You're here, you're watching a YouTube video. Throw me a like, throw me a subscribe. Why not? A few details on this year's project from the back of the bottle. Nelson's Brothers Cast Finish series marries historic standards of excellence with the restless spirit of our 21st century innovation. Prior to bottling, we pour well-aged Nelson Brothers whiskey into casks previously used to age Imperial Stout Ale at Blackstone Brewing Company. The result is a singular fusion of fragrance and flavor. Signed, Charlie Nelson and Andy Nelson. I love that they do their little vintage versions of their name. Chaz, period, Nelson, and W.A. Nelson. Have a look at that. These boys always doing something bougie. I recently got into the Nelson's Green Brier Bottled and Bond Tennessee whiskey. Thought that was pretty solid. I'm anticipating that this is going to be even better than that. But we won't know until we taste it, so taste it we shall. Let's get into it. Ooh, good pop. Ooh, I got a Mass Bourbon Alliance Glen here. That was intentional. Mass Bourbon Alliance has actually selected a single barrel of a stout finished bourbon twice now. Both times were with New England Barrel Company and with a local Massachusetts brewer. But I've kind of become known as the guy that reviews stout finished bourbon because nobody else really does. And honestly, I'm content with that. Get out. That smells so good. Guys, oh my gosh. This isn't me just tooting their horn. I got no skin in the game with Nelson's. Yeah, they provided me with a free bottle, but in accordance with the editorial policy that I use for my written reviews for my website, honesty is the best policy. You're going to get my real opinions, my real reactions to any bottle that you see me review. So right off the bat, the nose on this is spectacular. And honestly, I might go and pull out some of the other stout finished bourbons that I have on hand. Heck, maybe I'll compare this to the legendary Black Bell. Huh? Does that sound like a good idea? Certainly does to me. Okay, yeah, jumping back into the nose. This is wood forward. I can't even tell you how well aged this smells. You could tell me that was like a 15-year bourbon or something. All right, maybe not 15, maybe 12. Yeah, okay, so in the nose, just like graham cracker, this dusting of powdered chocolate, if that makes sense. Maybe something you would see sprinkled over a crepe with whipped cream, and you would do a dusting of cacao over the top. Maybe even like some slivers, maybe some cacao nibs. Lovely, lovely nose. And then like underneath it is this slight mustiness, and that might scare some of you away. Stay with me for a second. This mustiness is almost welcome for me. It almost like has this just dankness. This, I've been hiding in somebody's basement for just the right time to bottle. Like it almost feels like this could be like a basement brew project. Like somebody did a home brew and it just came out spectacular, and they were like, screw it, let's use that barrel for another project because that came out so good. It feels like that's kind of what happened here. Like they lucked into just like a really good stout to wood influence thing. And I think some of this is luck because I think last year's Blackbrier, or sorry, 2 years ago, I think I reviewed the Blackbrier as well. Maybe not last year. I think I missed the Distillery release last year. I might have asked for it and I think they ghosted me. But shit, that's got a good nose. Where was I on my point? Oh, this feels better. The nose feels better than previous Blackbriers that I've tried. But the Black Bell is in a different league. Honestly, let's be thorough here, folks. I'm going to get the Black Bell from my whiskey study. If you've never been in my whiskey study, go follow my Instagram. You'll see what's behind this door over here. All right, there it is. The king is back. Bell Mead Black Bell is what made me fall for this brand in general. This is cask 6499, which I have already had a bottle of. This is my second bottle of it. I love it that much. Still got a good seal on it. That's good. Okay, they nailed it. These noses are identical. This is so good to see. Just a quick nose on both of those. I didn't mean to rhyme there. And both of these noses are just about identical. And I love that for this tasting. Color between the two, you can see, is pretty much identical. So let's find out how they both taste. First up, I'm going to do the Nelson's Blackbrier. Shit, that's good. They nailed it. They absolutely nailed it again this year. Definitely a distinct stout flavor without that stout heaviness. It's like the best of both worlds. It's like having that first sip of Guinness feeling, but on a whiskey that's not going to fill you up, make you all bloated, give you a hangover. It is the best of both worlds. You get the flavor without all the struggles. Oh, so good. Okay. Cherry forward, believe it or not. And that is what I think is often missing on really good stout finishes. People overlook the fact that you need to start with a really good whiskey. And I think bourbon is actually the right thing to do for stout finishes. This has a very cherry forward profile. That chocolate undertone just sweeps across the tongue, rolls around, almost does a couple of flips in the mouth. It is just like it's lathering itself all over my tongue. And that is a good thing in the flavor department. Definitely some similar tones from the nose, a little bit of graham cracker. Almost a little peppery here too. I almost get a allspice black pepper, but it's very subtle. And that's me revisiting the nose, not the palate. I didn't get any pepper on the palate. But sipping here again, oh, it's so fruity. Give me those like sweet tarts, pop rocks. It's almost sticky in the mouth. Like it's not quite caramel that's melting there. Like a piece of toffee that you've just left in your mouth and it's just slowly disintegrating. Which is all to say that is a really, really good linger. The linger carries more of those chocolate tones. It doesn't quite venture into the like coffee bean, like too bitter, too dark. This has just phenomenal balance here. Tiny bit of fig, tiny bit of breadiness. Really enjoy. And it's effervescent. Kind of shimmers across the tongue. It does a lot in the mouth. It has a good coating. It hangs around for a good duration. And it just feels good. One more sip, and then I'm going to compare it to the Black Bell. Yeah, the more I sip this, the less I like it. I think this is really, really good in small doses as a dessert. I also think that this could stand up to doing a pairing really, really well. And that's a subtle nitpick. I think every sip has still been good. Just my enjoyment is slowly starting to taper off as I work through this glass. which happens. There's nothing wrong with that. I give only slight demerits in my written reviews for an experience that does this. I would prefer to have a whiskey have I would prefer a whiskey to have more longevity and be amazing from start to finish on like a 2-hour experience tasting through. No whiskey, almost no whiskey can do that, can stand up to that kind of scrutiny. So small nitpick here. But guys, this is a phenomenal stout finish. I think way better than the last one I tried, which is testament to the fact that they're getting consistent. They're probably using older stocks. They're mastering their craft, and kudos to them for doing so. All right, in Black Bell. Good luck finding this one. If you want to try to hunt it down, it is going to be pretty difficult to find it this time. This has been discontinued since. You'll see that this one is a little bit higher of a proof in comparison to the Nelson's Greenbrier Black Brier, but this one is crafted from the same people, so you can trust that they have stuck to a relatively consistent recipe, you would hope. Yeah, noses, I'm telling you, are just identical. And this one has not been opened super long, has not been missing a ton of liquid, shouldn't be overly oxidized in comparison to our Black Brier. Okay, one sip of the Black Bell. Okay, goodness gracious, that is a powerhouse of flavor. That is where we diverge. Black Bell is very good. There's a reason this one earned a 5 out of 5 on my rating scale. I stick to that rating. But they are similar in their character. I think this is probably the closest that Blackbriar has come to the Black Bell release, in that it's also fruity. This is very much fruit forward. This is very much fruit forward. They both lean in on that kind of cherry sweet tart thing, tiny bit of fig, but also has that just perpetual undercurrent of chocolate tones. If you're a fan of chocolate, these bottles will satisfy your sweet tooth. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it's just so big. And if you've ever had like a really expensive Cabernet Sauvignon, you'll know what I mean by big. It's just big on the palate. Like there's just so much flavor to it. It almost feels like it shouldn't fit in your mouth or on your tongue. That's not an innuendo. Ooh, if you can't laugh at your own jokes, right? Woo! Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's big. That's beautiful. That's bodacious. That is flavorful. I have zero qualms with Black Bell. That is my stout finish to end all stout finishes. That is my metric of success. That is my bar to clear. This is the bottle that I will judge every stout finish on and against. If you can't beat Bell Mead Black Bell, you can't hang with me. You can't sit with us. So let's jump back to the Black Brier and see if this is one that I want to keep amongst the whiskey. Let's find out. Still has an awesome nose. A little more wood forward, I'm noticing, than the Black Bell. Still makes me smile, though. It's very, very pleasant. Very, very pleasant in the nose. Here goes. Yeah, just definitely a touch less big. And I think that might come down to the base whiskey that is used for the Black Brier versus the base whiskey that was used for Bell Mead. Bell Mead was MGP. Black Brier is probably Nelson Brothers blended with some MGP. That's the idea. the premise, because the back label does still say bottled by Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery, which means that they could be blending in sourced stocks to this. They do specifically call out on the front label that it is a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys. So that leads me to believe that it very well could still contain MGP, but is probably not primarily MGP. And so you'll have maybe a 4-grain mash bill working with the stout cask versus a rye mash bill, a rye bourbon mash bill finished in that stout cask. So twist my arm, make me choose one. I think I'm still on the Bell Mead train. I think they still have a little bit of tweaking to do to get it back to that level of greatness. And maybe that was just lightning in a bottle and it'll never be reproduced. Maybe cask 6499 is just, one of those honey casks that will go down in history as one of the best whiskeys of all time. And yeah, it's finished. Who cares? Stout finish? Who the fuck does stout finishes? Bell Mead does. Nelson's Greenbrier does. New England Barrel Company does. So check these guys out. They're doing really cool projects. They're in Nashville, Tennessee, too. You ever go to Nashville? You go there for a bachelorette trip? Please don't. Please just schedule something else. Go find a waterfall in Iceland or something. Go to Nashville to go to NGB. That's Nelson's Greenbrier. They're doing good things. I actually haven't seen their Nashville place. I probably should. So Charlie or Andy can get a tour over there if you're watching. I know you are. No, seriously, guys, this is a cool brand. I'll put the Bell Mead down so we can talk about the modern day 2024 release. Guys, this is releasing on November 29th at their distillery. I think this one's going to go fast. Let me know if you go grab one or if you're planning to go grab one. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know. Are you hunting for the Nelson's Stout finish Black Brier? I'm telling you, at 106 proof, this is just perfect. Easy sipping. You don't have to be in that mood to go for it. And I'm honestly thinking that their cost on this is a little low. I think they're selling it for cheaper than they could. So I'd say stock up on this one because you're getting a killer deal. I think I saw something that this is going to be like a sub $100 bottle. How do you go about the logistics of getting a really bougie Imperial Stout, filling a whole damn barrel with it to season those staves with that beautiful flavor, and then put some of your best blended whiskey into that same cask for finishing against that stout seasoned casks, and arrive at a dollar cost average for a bottle that is less than $100? That is stupid. Get you one of them. Sub $100. I'm buying 6 of these. Final thoughts on my last sip of the Black Brier 2024. Really interesting whiskey. Really looking forward to seeing how this develops with time too. Time and air in this bottle, I think, is going to change things. So maybe I'll like it better in another 2, 3, 4 days when I finally get around to doing a written review for amongstthewhiskey.com. Link down below. Make sure you subscribe over there. Really important information coming in on that website. That is my sole source of truth. If you see a mistake on that website, you let me know, because I do a lot of research to make sure that that is a well triangulated opinion. These are kind of my off the cuff, having fun with the internet videos, not my preferred format. Read my reviews. Thank you, friends. Okay, rounding out on that Black Brier, it still has that just like subtle dankness underneath it. Beautiful chocolate shimmering across the tongue, plum, raisin, allspice, and just a kiss of saffron, believe it or not. That is a wonderful final sip. I'm very satisfied with that. I would rate that better than some of their unfinished stuff, to be honest. that extra cask influence, the extra flavor it imparts on an otherwise very subtle whiskey. They're onto something here. So, final shout, this is going to be at the Distillery on November 29th. Get you some. Oh, that is going to do it for me here tonight, folks. Didn't mean to bump that. So that is going to do it here for me tonight, folks. So until next time, keep it amongst the whiskey.